Welcome back to another episode of GameScope Live. I want to apologize for, leg is still very broken. Anyway, wasn't a lot of gaming news last week. Two things that, again, I'm not an Xbox guy, but Xbox did announce that they're coming out with their new next-gen console, Project Helix. For better or for worse, whether you guys are an Xbox guy or PlayStation guy, I consider myself a PC gamer with a PlayStation loyalty. But overall, I think that the vision that they have for Project Helix is something that I think Microsoft has been planning for a long time, if that makes sense. I know that, and I'll do a longer breakdown if you guys would like that. Just leave a comment. I think it is something that they've been planning for a long time in terms of that they've always been talking about being able to play on your console and being able to play on your PC and being able to play on your ROG Ally Go and all that fun stuff. Yes, I will make a breakdown video if you guys want a breakdown video on Project Helix. Today, I want to talk about NVIDIA because just like everything else with NVIDIA, they are big onto the AI boom and DLSS 5, which I'm an AMD guy as well, so I've never had DLSS with me personally. I think raw rasterization performance outweighs magic tricks, I guess. I have a video by Drawn Out. I love Drawn Out. Go subscribe to him. I'll definitely link his page below. And he talks about how NVIDIA trolls the internet with DLSS 5. So without further ado, let's get into it. Before that, make sure you leave a like, comment, like I said, what you think about this, or like I said, if you want me to discuss Project Helix, and be sure to subscribe to my page.
Okay, this image freaks me out. On the left is with DLSS off, and on the right is with NVIDIA's new DLSS 5 on. And it's weird. If I look away and look back real fast, the image on the right looks good for a split second, but then I can't help but think of all of those AI slop videos. Whereas the one on the left just looks like Resident Evil Requiem. Grace's character model looks good, but it looks like a video game character. Like when you really look at it, the one on the right looks like it came out of a Gen AI prompt. And I think that's what they're going for. Like I think this was intentional. So this comes directly from NVIDIA's own website. They announced that DLSS 5 delivers AI-powered breakthrough in visual fidelity for games. And it's just the next step in AI being thrown into everything. The reception to this has been awful. So this is a video they
With that being said, the fact that the entire internet, and again, this is the problem with CEOs of these billion-trillion-dollar companies thinking that they know what the consumer wants. Granted, your job as a CEO is to predict and innovate and kind of guide the general populace to the next thing, right? Gamers specifically have been very anti AI in this industry forever. The only time we like AI is when it comes to how NPCs behave in the game, and how that type of artificial intelligence reacts to you and the way you play, but not any of this AI. Everyone says slop, but just AI nonsense that's being added to every aspect of gaming from development to upscalers, which is ridiculous. I think AI could be cleverly used. I think one of my favorite things in AI that I think Bethesda was actually holding out for was being able to speak like through a microphone to an NPC and have them react organically to what you're saying. I think that's a clever use of AI, but everything else just seems unnecessary and redundant to an extent. Because to a point, this is a whole team's artistic vision, right? This is how they decided they wanted the game to look and feel, and to have AI come in and change all of that is almost disrespectful, I would believe. As a creator myself and as a writer especially, if someone took my next great American novel and turned into a movie and completely tossed out the purpose, point, and vision of my original story, I would be pissed. Let's just see what this has going on for it.
released for this, and you can see it starts with Grace again, and I don't know, man. I played Resident Evil Requiem. It didn't look like that, but this is how it looks like with DLSS on. They go to Leon with DLSS off, and then he looks like he came out of a Gen AI prompt. This is Hogwarts Legacy. Oh, that one's weird. Yeah. Oh, Starfield. I mean, you can only improve Starfield. Really, it looks better than the original. Yeah, you can't make Starfield look worse, though, so I mean. NVIDIA went on to say that this introduces a real-time neural rendering model that infuses pixels with photoreal lighting and materials, whatever that means. They say that it's the most significant breakthrough in computer graphics since the debut of ray tracing. It's definitely not going over the way they thought it would. And then they list a bunch of studios they've been working with for this. And of course, like you've already seen, it includes Bethesda, Capcom, Ubisoft. The Capcom one is really hurting my soul, though. They did not need to do grace like that. The founder of NVIDIA went on to say we are reinventing computer graphics. And then he said perhaps one of the dumbest things he could say. He said DLSS 5 is the ChatGPT moment for graphics. Which, okay, I get what he means. But that is such an easily memeable statement. It's like he doesn't know that to a lot of people, OpenAI started this whole thing. GPT is not this beloved app. Even the people that use it don't like it. They say today DLSS is evolving beyond performance to transform visual fidelity in games. DLSS was always meant for performance in your games, and now NVIDIA is using it for graphics.
And I have an issue with that statement because DLSS, I think, is what's been hurting gaming for a long time. 10 years ago, right, games had to be optimized for hardware. You know, you had to optimize. You couldn't bank on upscalers to do the heavy lifting for you. You had to do the heavy lifting yourself. Now, studios are getting too reliant on DLSS to the point where some games require some sort of upscaler, whether it's DLSS or FSR, which I think is just lack of responsibility on the studio's point. And again, game design and game development isn't an easy task. I do not besmirch game developers by any means of the word. You could definitely see a cutoff, fall off point in the timeline from when games looked good without DLSS and they were just graphically great to when DLSS came. And yes, some games that focused on graphical fidelity came out looking better, but a lot of games relied on DLSS to the point where if you didn't use it, and I'm not a big fan of ray tracing in most games anyway, it just seemed pointless and counterintuitive.
And they're sticking with the AI buzzword when people just have no faith in this shit. They say for games, pixels must be deterministic, delivered in real time, and tightly grounded in the game developer's 3D world and artistic intent. And that's the fucking problem. Nobody trusts your AI to actually get this right. And from what you've shown, people don't like what they've seen. People's eyes are incredibly sensitive to Gen AI now. But this was my favorite part of the article. The quote is, NVIDIA and Bethesda have had a long history of pushing gaming graphics and innovation forward. Because we all know Bethesda is just known for their graphics innovation. That is the funniest thing to say. Who said that? Oh, of course it was Todd Howard. Like, in what way does he think he can say this? Bethesda games are notoriously memed on for being outdated graphics-wise. The fuck are you talking about a long history of pushing gaming graphics? Todd goes on to say, with DLSS 5, the artistic style and detail shine through, without being held back by the traditional limits of real-time rendering. We're excited to work with this new technology and look to bring DLSS 5 to Starfield and future Bethesda titles. Dude, Todd is psyched about Elder Scrolls 6 using AI slop. Now, like I said before, it's hard to make Starfield look worse. So I get Todd's excitement. NVIDIA essentially just remade their entire graphics engine for them. They will absolutely intend on you playing Elder Scrolls 6 with DLSS 5 on. Also, something I thought of is that the release dates are kind of lining up for Elder Scrolls 6 being a launch title for Project Helix. I wonder if it'll be exclusive. And finally, they mention again a few games that are planning on using this. I don't even know why I bothered writing them down. We've already seen all of these. But they say DLSS 5 will arrive this fall. So probably in like 4 months or something. But yeah, thanks for watching. Leave a like if you enjoyed. Subscribe for quick gaming news videos that don't waste your time. And have a good day.
Great video. Like I said, I love Drawn Out. I think he does really good videos. I think he does really good breakdowns. And again, he's just humorous. He's humorous in a way that doesn't feel bad. Yeah, with that said, first of all, I'm not buying an NVIDIA graphics card, first and foremost. Especially, I just actually kind of went to PC Part Picker to kind of rebuild my PC to see how much it would cost today to build. And oh my goodness, my 7900 XT, which to be fair, I did get basically for $600, brand new, is a reference card model. And the reference card model, like that I found used, is going for like $1,600 right now, which is absurd. Great markup if I wanted to sell and upgrade, but I don't see many PC players upgrading graphics card because you know you're not going to be able to do this on a 40 series card, especially not on a 30 series card. You're definitely going to have to get into a 50 series card. Yeah, I don't think many people are in financial situations to allow that to happen, but I do think Bethesda is probably the only game studio that will benefit this. And I, again, don't mean to keep beating a dead horse, but I do very much love Bethesda as a game studio. Again, I had nothing but high hopes for Starfield, and yeah, it just seems, just seems absolutely ridiculous that this is the direction we're heading. So, with that said, I think that's all I got for you guys. What do you guys think about DLSS 5? Are you guys excited? You guys looking forward to it? Yeah, I can't see this lasting long. I think this is going to be something that comes out, it's utilized in a couple games, and then once, in the same way where, again, ray tracing was promised to be like this next gen thing, and it just made games heavier and, you know, harder to run. And it took things like something I know Naughty Dog does very well, where they bake in their lighting to every level. It took that element out of it for a lot of studios, which again, you can say is technological improvement, which fair, whatever, but there's some sort of emotional and human tangible things missing from games nowadays. And I think it's because of all of this stuff. And I don't know many real gamers who understand graphics and understand frames per second and understand lag time and all that fun stuff that use ray tracing. So I can't see many gamers using this, because I guarantee you the gen lag time is going to be, especially if you're using, you know, their frame generation, especially the new one that is already AI based frame gen, you know, that could put up to 3 gen AI frames into your game per frame. They weren't that, even that reception wasn't great. I think we got some work to do, and I think it's going to be a pretty funny realization they come to. Again, pleasure reacting and reviewing and talking to you. I always like doing this personally. I do have a article from PC Gamer about DLSS 5, so I could very much just do the news myself, but I always think reacting to someone else's video makes it more conversational and less me just talking to you. Let me know if you like it, of course. Feel free to like, comment, share this video, and again, shout out to Drawn Out. Make sure you like and subscribe to his page. I'll see you guys in the next one.